Good afternoon, everyone. From the Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm going to speak about my topic, adult education. In this, the education provided to the adults who are teenagers, and the education was generally provided to the adults or the teenagers of our nation was we can see that in the sector of in the medical sector, where the student went to the other countries or in the foreigns for their for getting degrees and all. So the somewhere there it was cheap to the other countries beside of India, beside of our nation. So and the other part of the education system, which include that for the adult is engineering degrees and the diploma degrees that they are doing here. Government is also doing many things by creating jobs by them, by having projects like infrastructure that they are creating, and they are making creating jobs to them. So by the education to the adults, so the education providing to them was right now was less in and because of the lack of awareness and lack of information. So from where we can see that in the IT sectors, that the jobs to that students was less, and the students coming from the colleges and the universities are high, and the jobs are less, and the jobs are getting to those who are having a high score and who having a knowledge of that. So the adult education is a education which generally provide to all the teenagers, because of other reasons. Other teenagers who because of lack of money, they don't get any chance to go for higher studies. So higher studies is the one of the most important part of any adult. So the education system for the adult for the higher education was in the medical sector. We have to make the cost less, and giving the new technologies that was generally happened. So because of that, the country, the teenagers and the adults of our country went for the other countries, and other sides by infrastructuring the nation. Our youth was also being a good part on that. They have to create a infrastructure. They have to participate in that. From this, I have to conclude my topic. Thank you.
Okay. Mike, please.
Okay, one of the very common topics, adult education. See, again, what you spoke was little vague, little vague. Okay, यहाँ वहाँ की कुछ बातें की. First of all, when it comes to a topic like adult education, think about why it's needed, why it's needed. Our country even now has a literacy rate of just around 74%. So we are far away from that 100% mark. And a majority of those who are not literate are generally, the above 50 and 55 crowd. So what is the downside if a person is illiterate? First thing is you become dependent on others for everything. If you have to fill a bank form, if you have to go and get an Aadhaar card, if you have to get a PAN card, if you have to read, what is written on the bus, where is it going, even for these small basic requirements of life, you are constantly dependent on others. First thing. Second thing, which we have seen in the movies 60s, 70s and 80s, like Mother India and other movies, you become vulnerable to exploitation. Farmers, they were exploited. How? Something else was written on the paper and the farmer was told something else, his thumb impression was taken, and then later he got to know that what he was told was a lie. So if you are a literate person, you can read a document, you can understand what is there, you cannot be exploited and fooled like that. Third thing is, there is a connection between illiteracy and superstition and such wrong practices, evil practices. In those areas where illiteracy is very high, the presence of superstitious beliefs, belief in black magic, and these kind of things is very high. So in those areas, especially in Adivasi areas where illiteracy is very high, you will find if somebody falls ill, they don't prefer to go to an MBBS doctor or a doctor of any kind. They will go to the local Ojha, local, someone who does something related to black magic, because they have a belief that it is some external Atma and all that is now causing a lot of problem to them. So in order to put an end to this, we need to ensure that our country is completely literate, 100% literacy should be there. Then you talk about what we as a society are doing. In big cities if you go, or even in villages if you go, in places, not everywhere, you will find that volunteers, people who during daytime are teachers, are postmasters, are doctors, are bankers, during evening or on weekends, they go and they take classes somewhere teaching adult old people ABCD and the general basics of it. So that is one thing. If you know of any government programs which are there to aid adult literacy, you could have spoken about that. Then you can come down that after this happens, how a person's life changes. You become independent, you are able to sign your own document, you are able to read any legal document required. So you become empowered. You cannot be fooled and exploited. That's why we need it. It could have been kept simple, right? Okay, clear? Okay.